morning. This is Suzanne with Tea with Suzanne. And today I want to talk about toilet paper and a broken arm. And yes, those two go together. Here's the broken arm. So I just got back from a cruise, and I love cruises mostly because my son Alex lights up when he's on a ship. Watching him have that much fun is one of my favorite things. But to be honest, there are some things about cruising that I don't love, and one of them is toilet paper. If you've ever been on a cruise, you know exactly what I mean. It's the kind that basically disintegrates before you even get a chance to use it properly. So on my last cruise, I grumbled about it, and this time I caught myself doing the same thing, complaining in my head about the toilet paper, and I did it every time I used it. And then I stopped because I suddenly remembered where I was. I was on a ship with about 2,000 other people floating in the middle of the ocean. And of course the toilet paper dissolves quickly. It has to. Otherwise, the plumbing systems on ships and the oceans itself would be in trouble. And in that moment, I realized something important. I noticed my negative thinking. And then I noticed what I was noticing. My brain had gone straight to irritation without remembering the context. So the toilet paper wasn't a problem. It was actually a solution. And once I saw that, my whole perspective changed. Instead of being annoyed, I actually felt grateful. It was a small moment, but it stuck with me. Because a few days later, the universe decided to give me a much bigger lesson. Obviously didn't think I'd totally got it the first time. So we stopped in Nassau and went to the cruise line's private island. It's perfect for our family because my husband Jim hates sand. It gets everywhere. Alex and I, we love sand. We love the ocean. So Jim found a chair by the pool and settled in, listening to music with some lunch, while Alex and I headed straight for the water. And oh my goodness, the ocean was that gorgeous green-blue color, and the waves were big, and I was in heaven. I grew up near the ocean. I love waves, and I love body surfing. So there I was, jumping waves, laughing. I was talking to a couple nearby about how clearly I was not acting my age. I felt like I was 12 years old again. And then I saw the perfect wave coming in. I knew that there was a sandbank near shore, but I thought if I caught the wave just right, it would carry me over the sandbank and I would land right on the beach. So I caught the wave. Perfect timing. Except I was a little too close to shore. So instead of carrying me over the sandbank, the wave drove me right into it. And then the undertow pulled me back and it twisted my right arm completely around. And then the wave dumped me back in the sand. So I sat there thinking, well, that probably wasn't good. So long story short, I broke my arm right below the shoulder joint. So what followed was quite the adventure. So we made it to the medical station on the island. That was a stretcher ride across the island. And then we did a boat to the mainland and then an ambulance to the mainland emergency room. And it wasn't exactly the beach day that I had planned. But over the next couple of days, I realized something. I had a choice. I could sit in the frustration and the pain and my goodness, was it painful. Or I could look for what people now call glimmers, and I always call the gifts of a situation, those small, beautiful moments of goodness that show up even in difficult situations. And there were so many. Alex had to put my socks on one morning, and for years I've been the one helping him, and it just made me smile. My husband has been so incredibly kind and helpful. Complete strangers rushed up to me to help me everywhere that I went. My children FaceTimed me to check in to make sure that I was okay. And the doctor from the island actually found us later when we were trying to get a taxi back to the boat, and she personally drove us back to the ship so we wouldn't miss it. Kindness was everywhere. Now, the broken arm and the pain didn't change, but the experience did. It brought me right back to the toilet paper because both situations had the same lesson. Notice what you're noticing. Our minds are incredibly good at drifting toward frustration and negativity. And most of the time, we don't even realize it's happening. But the moment you notice the thought, you have a choice. You can stay in the irritation, or you can look for the gifts or the glimmers. And sometimes the silver lining shows up immediately. Sometimes it takes time. But very often it's already there. We just haven't noticed it yet. So today, I want to leave you with this. Notice what you're noticing. Notice your thoughts and what you're thinking. And then give yourself permission to look for the gratitude. Sometimes it's hidden in something small, like toilet paper, and sometimes it shows up after a broken arm. But either way, those gifts, those glimmers, they are there. You just have to notice them. So permission granted to notice what you're noticing. Have a wonderful weekend. I will see you all next week. I will still be wearing this sling, but hopefully it will be healing nicely. So cheers and have a very lovely day.